my experience of making those vlogs, I got a few messages from people that just kind of totally blew me away, just because they found something in what I was saying that resonated with them, or somebody wrote to me and said, "By you talking about the fact that you tried to kill yourself, I realised I hadn't dealt with the fact that I had tried to, and had just sort of written it off as it was a phase, it was a little thing, and trivialised it to my friends, but also to myself." And I don't know what happened next for that person. Since he sent the message, it wasn't an immediate event; it hadn't just happened. I thought, I was just talking into my phone, you know, about me. It seems like the most narcissistic thing in the world, but I wasn't doing it because I'm so proud of myself, or you need to listen to me. It's still emotionally difficult for me to get an understanding of the fact that just by talking openly and honestly, you can have a positive impact. Because for me, a lot of negativity and depression comes from an internal voice going, "Shut up, no one's interested in you, you're just being arrogant and self-indulgent, and who are you to think that people need to listen to you?" So it's difficult for me to do that. And
That's interesting, because like when you say that, I'm like, but who are you to think that you cannot impact people by just being who you are the same way, right? I mean, anyways, well,
it's a double standard. That's the problem. That I can look at any other person doing it and go, "Oh, it's really great that you're putting yourself out there. It's great that you're sharing yourself, and it's really, I'm learning from this, and it's interesting to hear your story." Because hearing people's stories is something that I think we're instinctively fascinated by. And yet, if I'm in the wrong headspace, I won't accord the same right, or I don't know, something like a right to myself. And I think that's where a lot of being depressed comes in, that you treat yourself worse than you would treat a complete stranger. I think, well, I don't know about other people's experiences, but I'm sure there must be a lot of people who had the same experience as me, that you're very conscious of how you feel about yourself, deeply conscious, and you think you deserve it. And so it's not just, "Oh, why do I feel bad? Oh, I'm bullying," and not realising that you're bullying yourself. Maybe you don't think of it as bullying, though. I didn't. It's more like the voice inside, the negative voice, used to be part of a mechanism to keep you safe. This is something I heard Duncan Trussell talk about on a podcast.
Yes, yeah, I know him. It's good.
There's some negative part of you that has become just an automatic response that at some point served you. So for me, I think it was probably about being moved around various different schools, because my family moved my dad's job. Always the new kid, always trying to be liked, but also aware that I was an obvious target. And so I tried to make up for this by being funny and loud, and that genuinely came across often as obnoxious and arrogant. And I recognized this, but some people liked me for this, some people didn't. And I developed this kind of preemptive bullying, so that I would bully myself ahead of time, so that anybody else, I'm like, well, you know, you don't think as badly about me as I think about myself. I wasn't conscious of that.
Interesting.
It's just something that came up after, before I went to drink ayahuasca, I was seeing a therapist, a counsellor for about a year, and this is something that we kind of unpacked. This preemptive bullying, like even just, you know, like I just said to you, some of the voice in my head is saying this. It's still there, and that the difficulty is that thing was meant to help. And it was, when Duncan Trussell described it, he said, you realise that this thing that comes into like the house that's your mind, and just starts smashing things up and going through these automated sequences that used to serve you and don't anymore, and you just want to run away or throw it out, but really you just need to accept, look, it's okay, I know that you're doing this from a place of care, but we don't need to act like this anymore. The world that you're in has changed. And to be able to, you can't throw that away, but you need to be able to like bring it close and integrate it, which is really fucking hard to do. And so for me, the need, the kind of battle is to go, look, I know, but it's okay, it's fine, it's okay. But it's not exactly black and white, because being self-aware enough to know that you're offending people, or you're being arrogant, or you're being, some other negative thing, it's good to have that self-awareness. And there's a fear that if you're just going to accept these elements of your personality, that you're going to give yourself license to be a dick. and that's what often holds me back from just. But then, like, I can hear that the counsellor saying to me, like, yeah, but do you really think that you would suddenly turn into a total dick and that you would be unaware of it? Like, okay, no. I don't think so. Some people won't like me, some people will never like me, and you can't. I don't know, but part of that, I guess, being the new kid was this craving that I still have. I want people to like me, and putting too much weight, way too much weight about my own self-esteem on the opinion of others has been the running theme throughout my life. Anyway, that wasn't actually your question.
That's what I'm saying. We'll just go wherever this goes.
I think I started talking about that because that's what I really wanted from ayahuasca, was just not to hate myself. But I also had other questions. I wanted to know, what should I do with my life? Big questions. And at moments in the ceremonies, there were just a couple of moments where our attention turned to, okay, so you're not sure what to do with your life, let's think about that. And then she just kind of shut down, like, no. So I left with a sense of, oh, so we're not going to deal with that. And because we dealt with some other things, that is now what's dominating my attention. That although I emerged from the jungle in a bubble of positivity and a sense of peace and calm, it's as though by dealing with certain things, it's given space for other things to move forward. Like, this was obviously, to me, it was obvious this was step one. And it made sense that it was step one because, really is working out what your future or your vocation is more important than the fact that you hate yourself? No, you probably need to deal with that, the foundational level first.